Good morning. Today I want to talk about which seeds I will be starting next, and I am following Charles Dowding's sowing timeline, but I am starting them a bit earlier, except for the ones I'm starting right now, which are tomatoes, sunflowers, and beets and squash. But the tomatoes and the sunflowers, I'm gonna do the pricking out method, so I'll start germinating them in a tray, and I'll label the different varieties because I'm doing a lot of different tomato varieties, and mostly the smaller, like cherry-sized tomatoes, and a ton of San Marzanos because we like the San Marzanos. So yes, I've already went through all my seeds, and so for multi-sowing or straight into the module tray, I'm gonna be doing leeks, beets. These are gonna be 4 to 5 per cell in a 50 cell tray. And the sunflowers, I'm gonna do pricking out method because I want to be able to put one sunflower in each tray and know for sure that the seed that the module tray is going to be used. So, but later on this month, at the end of March, I'll be doing the squash, the cucumber, the watermelons, the cantaloupe, and that's it. So let me show you what I'm starting. Lots of different sunflowers. Some I got from M.I. Gardner, some I got from rareseeds.com, Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. Velvet Queen sunflower, Sun Gold Tall sunflower, Sunspot Dwarf sunflower, Autumn Beauty sunflower. So I'm starting tomatoes and tomatillos, Swiss chard, and basil using pricking out method. These are some of the different tomatoes I'm starting. San Marzano, Porter tomato, green sausage tomato. And the reason why I'm starting these now because I didn't want to be up potting them. So I'll be starting them indoors, and then hopefully by our last frost date, which is April 12th, they'll be ready to go. So I'll put a link to Charles Dowding's sowing timeline in the link in the description box below. Oh, this is squash. I'll be starting those later, so that you can go and see. And we're zone 8A, 8B here in Pahrump. And like I said, depending on what are your favorites and what you want to start earlier, and if you have the space, you can go and base it off that. So most of the February stuff is already in module trays growing. And the March list on here, I'll just be adding the beetroot. I already started celery. I'll be starting tomatoes, basil, which is not on here, but basil will be good to start now. And I'm starting them inside so the seed can germinate, because the seeds need about 65 to 80 degrees temperature to germinate. Some others need colder temperatures and they're just fine germinating. Oh, there's all my tomato seeds. I'm like looking for one. And this one right here where all the ones that I'm starting later are. And they're right here. I'm like, I don't think it was this little. This is gonna be a lot. Anyways, we've got a moneymaker tomato, green zebra tomato, silvery fire tomato, silvery fir tree tomato, Sheboygan tomato. So these are smaller varieties because I want to be able to harvest without having to wait so long. Old German tomato, more San Marzano. More San Marzano. Orange Mussolini tomato. Porter tomato. Sweetie tomato. We'll see if these ones germinate. These seeds are super old. Super Sweet 100. Atomic grape. And I'll be starting more Cosmos, more zinnias, because most of my zinnias died. I still have a lot that made it, but these flowers are so pretty. And I might do a cut flower bar or something. Here, more sunflowers. So all the types of basil I'm growing are sweet Italian. These were 25 cents a seed packet at Dollar Tree. They might still have some. Go check them out. They have really good germination rate too. Dwarf Creek basil, Italian large leaf basil, purple ruffles basil. I like to grow so many different kinds of basil because it's so good in teas. Blue spice basil, dark opal basil, lime basil, lemon basil. And I saw those two, I was like, what's the difference? Lemon, lime, and maybe one's more lemony. Spicy clove basil, Genovese basil. I'm gonna start some red leaf amaranth to put in the flower bouquets. Cinnamon basil, licorice basil. You probably didn't think there was this many varieties of basil. Siam Queen basil, Thai basil. And what I'll also be doing is using pricking out method with the Swiss chard. I was thinking about multi-sowing these, but I think it'll just be better to do the pricking out method. That way for sure I also have one plant in each module. I'm also starting nasturtiums, even though this is more of a cold hardy flower, but I think it'll be able to flower before it gets too hot. So yes, those are all the seeds I'm starting like within the next 2 days. Even though it's not super urgent, but I do want to get them started. That way if I do end up wanting to sell some, they're nice, they're not too small. So towards the end of March, we'll be starting watermelon, cucumber lemon, American melon sweet passion, watermelon golden midget. I've had a hard time being successful growing cucumber. Last year I had a cucumber and it gave me like 1 or 2. Maybe it needed more water. Burpee watermelon. Burpee watermelon. It's a bush sugar baby watermelon. We're gonna do a lot of zucchini. zucchini squash. These are beets. Sweet dumpling winter squash. So it's funny because I always thought that summer and winter squash, like you would plant the summer squash in the summer and the winter squash in the winter, but that's not the case. I'm telling you, I've come a long way. Beet bull's blood. Sugar pie pumpkin. I was gonna leave this one out because I don't really eat pumpkins, but maybe we could make some pumpkin pie with that. Vegetable spaghetti winter squash. H-ball. My mom had these last year growing in her garden, but I think they might have been the ones of the lighter color. She would harvest one every day. 1 or 2 every day. She had so many. Early wonder. Tall top beet. Cylindra beet. And these are beets from Dollar Tree. 25 cents each. Detroit dark red. And then the end of March I'll also be starting different kinds of beans. And some corn. So that's what's coming up next on planting for March. I still thought we were in the beginning of March. We're now in the middle of March. So I need to get the tomatoes, the basil, the sunflowers, and some Swiss chard started using the pricking out method. And then the other stuff like the squash, the asparagus, the beets, I'll be doing the multi-sown method. But with the zucchini squash, I'll probably just put 1 seed per module. And I'll update you guys. I'll probably make another video updating you guys on how they're growing when they start growing. So get your seeds started. If you don't have any seeds and you want to start seeds, go get some. Go check out Dollar Tree. Tractor Supply has some. Home Depot has a bunch of seeds. I'm sure Walmart does too. Even online, there's a lot of different companies that sell seeds. M.I. Gardner is one I like. Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds, and I think those are the 2 I use online. But you don't have to start from seed. I like to start from seed because I just like the excitement of watching a little seed grow into a plant. I'm just fascinated by it. That, and it's less expensive in a sense. It's more time consuming, but less expensive because a whole packet of these, well, this one was $4.50, but this is just a minimum of 15 seeds. But if you think about it, 1 tomato plant, it'll cost you $4.50, $3.99 or something like that anyway. So that's why I just like to start what I can from seed. The trees are a whole different story, especially fruit trees, but like our desert trees here that are edible, like mesquite and palo verde, certain varieties of palo verdes. If you start them from seed, those grow fast. Mesquites grow fast, and the pods are edible. You can grind them up and make flour from them. And so yeah, these are the seeds I'm starting in the next 2 days and through the end of March. Get your seeds started.